Could Trae Young be on his way out of Atlanta if he doesn't reach an extension with the club this summer? Something around the league executives are monitoring, plus Devin Booker. The Suns now need to worry about keeping him happy. I'm Trevor Lane. This is the Basketball Bulletin. Make sure you subscribe right here to the channel. Right now, about 70% of you watching, you're not subscribed. I looked at the numbers. It's what they say. Let's fix that. Hit the subscribe button. So let's get into it. Trae Young, Shams Charania talked a little bit about his situation moving forward in Atlanta, and it does appear to be murky, but I think there's something to take away here if we're reading between the lines. But let's give a listen.
We're closely watching and monitoring the future and status of Atlanta's Trae Young. He has 2 years left on his deal this upcoming season, but he has a player option in 2026. He can be a free agent next summer. It's going to be a much more flush market in free agency coming up. And listen, this is an Atlanta Hawks team that has made a ton of moves this offseason, got Kristaps Porzingis. They can go several different directions with this team. They have a rising young team. They have guys like Jalen Johnson, Zachary Ricochet. But the Hawks want to see how this team looks. Both Trae Young and Kristaps Porzingis are extension eligible. But Trae Young, by all accounts, I'm told, is locked in. He's excited about this team. He really believes this team is as close to that team several years ago. They made it to the conference finals in the East. He's excited. But I do know Trae Young a little bit. And I know once he gets into the season, he wants to focus on that season. So if there is no extension, we're into the regular season, I would not be surprised if he just waits until the 2026 summer before any decision is on his future.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So there's a few things there that I think we really have to note here about the future of Trae Young and what Shams is saying, especially, let's just start with right at the end there, where he says that he thinks if it goes into the season and the extension isn't done, then Trae Young isn't going to want to sign an extension till all the way the next summer. Well, where could that potentially be coming from? Who would that benefit? Well, Trae Young, of course. That's where that would benefit. He said he knows Trae Young a little bit. And if Trae is to try to put some pressure on the Hawks to get the extension done now, he could do it by saying, hey, if we go into the season, then it's too late. I want to just focus on basketball. I don't want to deal with the extension then. Let's either do it now, or we're going to have to wait till next summer when, I don't know, I could become a free agent. Maybe that's a path that I could explore. And it's not wrong. Factually, it's correct. Next summer, Trae Young can become a free agent. He has a player option with the Atlanta Hawks, but I take what Shams is talking about here as not necessarily a threat, but maybe a bit of a prodding here for the Hawks to try to get an extension done with Trae and make this all work out for him and take care of his long-term future. I think that's really what that little bit at the end there was all about. Now, that said, if I'm the Hawks and I look around at the market right now, I'm doing what every other team's done. Say, you know what? Where are you going to go? Where do you want to go if you're going to be a free agent? Now, Shams again countering that, hey, next summer, there's more money in free agency. There's more money out there next summer. Could go somewhere else. Better. Now, again, he's not really threatening to go somewhere else, but just throwing that out there that, hey, there's more money out there in free agency next summer. There will be teams interested. For the Hawks, it's a real threat to lose Trae Young next summer for nothing. It's one of the most damaging things that can happen to a franchise is to see a star-level talent, and let's face it, that's what Trae Young is. I know he's got his detractors, but it's one of the most damaging things that can happen to a franchise is a superstar-level talent walk away for zero return in free agency. So I think this is a little bit of a push like, hey, let's get this extension done, finished, and then we can head into the season. Now, that said, if I'm Trae Young, I'm thrilled with what the Hawks have done. Yeah, I want my extension, but look at what Atlanta has done this offseason. You land Kristaps Porzingis, and again, he can also be a bit polarizing. People question his ability to stay healthy. I get it. It makes sense. But the Hawks have made moves. The Hawks, we talked about it. There were a number of teams that are going to look at the Eastern Conference and they're going to say, why can't we be the team to make the run this year? Tyrese Halliburton, out, torn Achilles. Jason Tatum, out, torn Achilles. Damian Lillard's not even in the conference anymore. Teams were going to look around, teams in that mid-tier in the East were going to look around there. We're going to say, why not us? Why can't we be the team to make the run? Well, the Hawks have done that exactly. They've added the pieces that they need, I think, to make themselves a real threat in the East. Would I make them the top dog? No, of course not. It's the Cavs. The Cavs are the favorite to come out of the East right now, and rightfully so. But you got to give Atlanta a lot of credit for what they've done. I don't think Trae Young has any reason to be upset with the Hawks this offseason. He should want to stay in Atlanta based on the things that they've done. If you were at a conceptual level to think about what the Hawks need to look like in order to maximize the talents around Trae Young, you need defense, switchy perimeter defense to help insulate Trae Young. Well, look at what the Atlanta Hawks have put together. Look at what they've done. They add Nickeil Alexander-Walker, and there were a ton of teams that won an NAW in free agency this year. The Hawks won that race. They went and got him, and especially the Detroit Pistons, an Eastern Conference opponent, really wanted Nickeil Alexander-Walker, and the Hawks were able to get the job done. They've got Jalen Johnson. They lost him last year due to injury. Hopefully he comes back and comes back strong. One of the most exciting young players in the NBA. I'm very high on Jalen Johnson. Zach Reese-Shea, you've got him, the number 1 overall pick. Was it the wrong year to have the number 1 overall pick? Yeah, it was, and that sucks. If you're the Hawks, you could have had Cooper Flagg. You could have had Wemby if it was the year before or the year after. Instead, you get Zach Reese-Shea. In that context, it's a bummer, but he's a good player. He's a guy that can fit in long-term with Atlanta, and he's another wing player. And then we talk about the Great Barrier Thief himself. God, I love that nickname, Dyson Daniels. He is phenomenal on the defensive side of the ball. So you've got this army of switchy wings around Trae Young. I thought the Luke Kennard edition was a smart one as well. Let's put some shooting around him too. And then at the big position, you can go with the stretch 5 if you want to run Kristaps Porzingis out there. If you want to go with a bit more of a power game that still provides some versatility, you've got Onyeka Okongwu. And the thing that I think is really interesting is that you could play the two of them together, Okongwu and Kristaps Porzingis. I think this Atlanta team may not have the bottom of the bench depth, the kind of back end. When we look at maybe the 9th, 10th spot on this roster, but overall, when we're looking at their top 7, 8 guys, this is a team that I think can really make some noise in the Eastern Conference. So if I'm Trae Young, I'd be pushing right now too. Let's get this extension done. Let's figure this out and lock in Atlanta, because I think he's a great fit with them. I think they built a team around him that can win, and I think they could be a real threat in the Eastern Conference. Give a lot of credit to the Atlanta Hawks for what they've done this offseason. Porzingis, maybe it doesn't work out, but it's a 1-year deal anyway, even if it doesn't. I think there's a really good chance that it does work out there for the Atlanta Hawks. All right, let's jump over now to the Phoenix Suns with Devin Booker. There's a report coming out of Phoenix, and this is from directly from team owner Matt Ishbia, who talked. And you know what? I want to take a moment here and give Matt Ishbia a little bit of credit, because he made a mess of things. He really did. When he did the Bradley Beal trade, the Kevin Durant trade, he came in as a new owner and said, I've got the money to solve any problem. I'm going to come in. I don't care what the new CBA looks like. I don't care about the rules. I'm going to buy a team that can win right now. We're going to do it anyway, even though the new CBA was set up specifically to stop teams from spending their way to a championship, specifically from preventing teams from loading up on superstars. The Suns said, we're going to do it anyway. And the CBA, oh boy, it slapped their wrist. It slapped their wrist hard. But to his credit, Matt Ishbia has admitted that he made a mistake and said now he wants to build this team the right way. And he says Devin Booker, despite being 29 years old, he says Devin Booker is on board with that. Matt Ishbia said, I don't feel any pressure to win to keep Devin Booker happy. And they did give Devin Booker a big extension this summer. Those millions upon millions of dollars, of course, help. We're going to do things to be aligned with the vision and identity that he agrees with 1,000%, and I agree with 1,000%. I don't need any external pressure to win. We want to win every single day. We want to get better every single day. Expectations have changed. When you have Kevin, Devin, and Brad, people think championship or bust. Unfortunately, we busted 2 years in a row. It didn't work. I'm not concerned about Booker at all. He is Phoenix Suns. He's the all-time leading scorer. Everyone knows him, loves him. He's great in the community. He's part of our present and our future, and we're going to build around him, and hopefully we'll make the fans proud. So that's good to hear, that despite the fact that on paper the Suns are going to take a step back, Devin Booker is on board with that he's okay with the Suns in order to build the right way. He's okay with them taking a step back here. There are some players in his position that would say, well, no, I don't want to. I'm 29. This is my time. My time is right now. I'll be 30 soon. Let's get this done. Let's get going here and let's make a real run. Devin Booker, the Suns roster, it's not complete. but he is apparently not putting pressure on the franchise to change things too much or to win right now. He understands it's going to be a process. I think Phoenix will take a step back this coming season, but over the long haul, they are now, I believe, in a better position. My only concern was the decision to buy out Bradley Beal. And I'm not going to sit here and tell everybody that it's the wrong move. I need to see what they do with the flexibility they've created first, because now they're not even a first tier apron team. They're not. They're below the first tier apron now, $8.8 million below the first tier apron. That's going to give them flexibility to make some other moves, and they must make other moves. This roster is nonsense. It is absolutely topsy-turvy when you look at this roster right now. Shooting guards, centers, not a whole lot in between. A lot of pressure on Ryan Dunn to really be the wing, and I like him a lot, but a lot of pressure on Ryan Dunn to be the wing moving forward for them. They've got Dylan Brooks as well, but not a lot of cohesive pieces here on paper on the Phoenix roster. I do think more moves are coming with the Suns. So I want to see what they do with the flexibility before we pass judgment on their decision to buy out Bradley Beal, waive and stretch that salary. But look at that. Ooh, man, this is yikes. You're bringing a butter knife to a gunfight here when we're looking at the Phoenix Suns and their cap sheet having $19.3 million just gone for the next 5 years off your books. That may make it tough. Phoenix has got to get all the rest of their decisions right, but very clearly they believe that the juice is worth the squeeze, that what they're going to get out of doing this is going to benefit them over the long haul. And we'll see if they're right, or we'll see if that Bradley Beal dead money on their books becomes too big of a hindrance. Everybody, I want to thank you for being here, being part of the Basketball Bulletin. Wasn't sure how this channel would go when we first launched it, but I got to say, we're coming up on a year almost here in about a month or so since we really got it off the ground and got it going. We're looking ahead to September, and I couldn't be more thrilled with the way things have gone so far and more appreciative of all the support that we've received here on the channel. So again, thank you truly to all of you out there. I appreciate all of you. Till next time, everybody. See ya and stay safe.